Welcome to another edition of Northport Now. I'm Jason Bartolone, and today I'm joined by City Manager Jerome Fletcher for a quick update on some important topics and some recent headlines. Mr. Fletcher, thank you for being here today.
Sir, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we want to talk first about the town hall that's coming up. The City Commission has been hosting a series of town halls where they can answer questions from the community about the upcoming referendum on May 13th here, the special election in Northport. We had a very successful first town hall last month, and the second town hall is coming up on April 2nd. So what can you tell us about what the community can expect at a town hall? This is a little different than a typical city commission meeting. So why is it important that the voters come out and get engaged this way?
So what they can expect is a dialogue, which is different than the city commission meeting. The commission meeting is a structured meeting set around an agenda of topics that the commission have been prepped on. They receive information, and the city citizens are allowed to come out and talk about either those items, or they have public comment where they can say information regarding any sort of topic. These town halls are specifically geared for the referendum and their questions, and allowing the commissioners to be able to answer questions from the community so that they can tell and respond about why they feel that they are putting the right 5 questions in front of the community to make decisions on, which is very different. This is a very old school, 5 commissioners there ready to ask and have conversations. The public can talk to them directly. They can take turns and take time. The staff is there to fill in the gaps of information and what needs to be clarified. And it is really a better exchange that this community is not sort of used to having, because you just don't do this very often anymore. But these 5 topics are so important. We heard from the community last fall how they felt with those topics, and now we've adjusted, made some tweaks, and now we're putting better questions in front of them on the special election.
And the second town hall is going to be at 6 p.m. at the Northport Public Safety Building. That's at Predo Boulevard and US 41 in Welland Park. And it will be also broadcast live on YouTube. So if you can't make it out, you can watch online as well. The other topic we wanted to mention was there's been a lot of headlines about DOGE. That's the Department of Government Efficiency, both at the federal government level, and now that's trickled down to us at the state and the local level. I know the city recently got a letter from the governor's DOGE team with some very specific questions about our city finances. So what can you tell our listeners about that letter and how the city responded?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, you gotta be thankful that you have, the governor who has pushed down and trickled down some of the DOGE effect to the state level, because we know that at government at all levels, whether it's federal, state, or local, there's always ways and opportunities to improve yourself. No government is operating at 100% at an optimal level. That's just not the way that it is. In the city of Northport, while we look at our budgets and our numbers and our expenses and revenues every single year, there's nothing wrong with having an outside entity come in to try to make sure that we all share the same outcome, which is to make sure that you're as efficient as possible. So when we got the letter, it had several questions on it that were all related to financial distress. And thankfully, based on the current and past leadership of the city, elected and staff, we were able to say that we were not in any financial distress and report that back to the state. We also wanted the state to know some good things about us, how we're ranked as one of the fastest growing cities, and just some positive things about our city. We want to serve as an example for DOGE. So we told them and let them know if they have any more questions to let us know, and we stand ready to respond to them and help them get what they need from the city of Northport. We are confident that when they look into the city of Northport on any level, that they're going to be able to tell that financially, we are extremely sound, whether it's our consistent tax rate, whether it's our growth in size and revenue and taxes and what we provide back to the state. So we're very well prepared for them to come in any future venture. We welcome them and open the door for whatever they need.
And you can read that letter and the city's response on our website, northportfl.gov/Doge. The other big headline here locally that people have been talking about is the Price Boulevard widening project. It's really happening. The City Commission recently approved the construction contract, and we just did a special podcast here with a lot of more details about the project. This has been in the works for many years. I know even before you got here in Northport. What do you want the residents to know about how we got to this point to get this project going?
Well, I think the residents already realize how much pain it took to get to this point. But, what you want them to realize is that, we have a history of saying things and then not following through on it. And since I've gotten here, this has been a priority, and the commissioners have made it a priority. And we want to be known for what we get accomplished and not sort of kicking the can down the road. So this is one of those legacy projects that you're going to really be able to check off of your sheet to say we finally got it done. It is not going to be easy to get it done over the next couple of years. I mean, we are really going to be reimagining a thoroughfare that people have seen one way for quite some time. It is going to be an adjustment, whether we're talking about alternate transportation routes, whether we're talking about land that traditionally people thought was in their land, in their yard, and now we're having to disrupt that land and having those conversations, especially with people who thought, yeah, right, you're not ever going to do this, and I'm never going to have to worry about it, and now you are. So with that comes a lot of public engagement and conversation, and we'll have to be ready for it. It's going to require some patience. Just know that we are going to communicate, and we'll make sure that we not only post things online, but we reach out in person. I think we knocked on doors to get people who are in that pathway of the project aware of what we were doing and when we were doing it. We'll have to keep that going up. We have to make sure that we are transparent as well as communicating on an extremely high level. There's going to be some extremely high emotions as we get going through this, but just know that at the end of it, the city will be better, our streets will be better, that particular thoroughfare will be a lot better, and a lot of headaches will be removed and relieved.
And northportfl.gov/price is another way you can stay informed. Sign up for email alerts on the project throughout. The last topic we wanted to touch on was it's budget season. You recently had a budget workshop with the City Commission, and I know you'll be presenting your proposed budget to them later in the summer. What are some of the biggest challenges that the city is facing right now with our budget, and how are you planning to address those over the next few months?
So some of the biggest challenges we're facing is our first and number one priority is making sure that we keep our employees employed. This is not a good time in our state, in our country, for us to lay people off, and we want to avoid that at all costs while maintaining a high level of services. So that's the first thing that we're trying to make sure that we accomplish. As we look at the level of services that we provide as a city, we know that they're at a level of excellence. And the tricky part is how do you continue to provide a same or similar level while acknowledging that the expenses of each and every year go up, whether you're talking about just the normal increases of cost of things or employees and merits and all the things that go with running a city of our size. Those things have to be accounted for, but we cannot compromise to a level of service that harms us in a way that we don't continue the growth curve that we're on. That is important because that growth curve of bringing people in here still allows for the future to be able to pay for things that the city needs. It can't fall all on the backs of the taxpayers who are here right now. That's too much of a burden. So we're going through that balancing act. And once we balance the budget, which we will trying to show the commissioners this year a little different sort of presentation, a little bit more detail so that they can get some more of the granular level of some of the numbers and the changes and the causes and the solutions. And then on top of that, we've been asked to do an exercise of what does a decrease look like in our millage rate. Now that's going to be tricky because you're going to see us balance the budget and leave things on the cutting room floor. And then you're going to say, oh, and by the way, if we want to cut $3 million, we're going to have to go a little bit deeper in the general fund. The general fund is roughly $90 million of our total budget. So you're looking at a $90 million pot. The $90 million pot, 61% of that pot is public safety. So now you're talking about what are you going to take away a portion of from fire and police, which is not good to begin with, because we already balanced it with them. And then good governance is another category in there as well. So there are different categories in there that we're going to have to scrub and see how deep we can cut without compromising ourselves. And we're going to paint that picture for the commission. We'll make sure that we share that vision and picture with our community. We want people to come out and be engaged. We want them to come and not only be participants at the town hall, but also look at our information online, reach out to us, contact us. We want to make sure that we are listening and hearing our community. But this is probably one of the more important budgets that we've seen in quite some time. And you add DOGE on top of that, then it's just another a layer to the cake. So it is going to be, it's always going to be a great process because the budget is the single most important document that we create every year. We give it our thoroughest attention, and we look forward to making sure that we can provide a high level of service that we can all be proud of for the city of Northport.
And we do hope that people stay engaged with us. One way they can do that, the city is going to be hosting an eat and greet community forum about the budget, a little bit different format this year. later in the spring where they can come out and learn and really talk to the different departments and learn what is in the budget and ask their questions.
Yes, we changed that up, and thank you for changing that up. We are trying to make sure that we provide a better opportunity for the most people to come out, and we know that first of all, people always love food, so having food there would be great. But we also need to do it at a time and a place that people can actually get to who want to come out, and then make it available in other ways for people who can't come out.
Yes. So stay tuned to this podcast and our city website for more information when that's available. Mr. Fletcher, thank you very much for being here today.
My
And
pleasure.
we'll talk to you again soon. And thank you all for listening to the Northport Podcast Network.